Building Starship has always been a race against time, but SpaceX just redefined what's possible. Booster 19 was stacked in just 28 days. That's 6 times faster than Booster 18's 175-day assembly, even beating Booster 17's 3-month record. So what did Elon Musk discover in the V3 design that made this insane speed possible? The answer lies in pure simplicity. Gas manifolds moved outside the booster. Raptor 3 engines stripped of bulky shielding. Everything tucked neatly inside. No more workers crawling through tight steel spaces. How much faster can SpaceX go? Let's dive right in. SpaceX didn't waste a single hour after the Booster 18 incident. While most companies would spend months investigating and redesigning, Elon's team had already anticipated this moment. The V3 design wasn't created as a reaction. It was ready and waiting. This tells us something crucial about SpaceX's development philosophy. They build multiple solutions in parallel, not sequentially. The gas manifold redesign is where the magic starts. Instead of forcing workers to squeeze inside cramped stainless steel chambers to install complex internal systems, SpaceX moved most of the manifold to the outside. Think of it like switching from building a ship in a bottle to assembling Lego blocks. The workers can now see what they're doing, reach every component easily, and spot problems instantly. This single change probably cut assembly time by 40% alone. But here's what most people miss. The Raptor 3 engine transformation is the real game changer. Previous Raptor versions looked like mechanical nightmares. Exposed pipes snaking everywhere, bulky heat shielding, external hardware that needed custom fitting. Raptor 3? It's surgical. Everything is integrated inside the structure. No loose wires dangling, no tubes requiring individual routing, no armor plates bolted on piece by piece. This clean design doesn't just look better, it fundamentally changes the production equation. Robots can now handle most of the engine assembly because there are fewer custom adjustments needed. Welders don't have to work around obstacles. Inspectors can verify quality in minutes instead of hours. SpaceX is now producing multiple Raptor 3 engines every single day. That's not a factory. That's a production line that would make automotive manufacturers jealous. Let's put Booster 19's timeline in perspective. Booster 18 took 175 days to assemble. Booster 17 held the previous record at roughly 90 days. Booster 19? Just 28 days from start to stack. That's not incremental improvement. That's a manufacturing revolution compressed into a single vehicle. The stacking happened in December exactly as planned, which reveals another layer of SpaceX's capability. They didn't just build faster, they built faster on schedule. That level of predictability at such extreme speed suggests they've truly mastered the V3 manufacturing process. This isn't a lucky sprint, it's the new baseline. After stacking, Booster 19 still faces a gauntlet of tests. Cryo testing is scheduled for the first week of January, where liquid oxygen and methane will be loaded to verify the tank structure can handle the thermal stress. If those tests pass, and based on the test tank data, they should, engine installation comes next, followed by a static fire around mid-January. On December 9th, the electrical raceway components arrived at Mega Bay 1. These aren't glamorous parts, but they're critical. The raceway protects and organizes all the wiring that controls the booster during flight. In early December, SpaceX tested Raptor 3 serial number 75, and serial number 76 was spotted soon after. That means dozens of engines have already been built and fired. SpaceX isn't just ready for Flight 12, they're ready for what comes after. The V3 booster introduces asymmetrical chines, those aerodynamic extensions along the body. They're now positioned specifically for gliding performance during the return flight. This isn't about aesthetics, it's about physics. Better glide means more downrange distance with less fuel consumption, which directly translates to more payload capacity and operational flexibility. The grid fin configuration dropped from 4 to 3. Why? The upper fin was getting hammered by turbulence during descent, creating drag without providing control benefits. Removing it simplifies the system, reduces weight, and actually improves descent stability. This is the kind of counterintuitive engineering that comes from real flight data, not simulations. The integrated hot staging ring is perhaps the most overlooked innovation. Previously, this component was separate and needed replacement after every flight. Now it's built directly into the booster structure. The time savings between launches could be measured in weeks. For a company targeting multiple flights per day eventually, this change alone could be the difference between ambitious goals and actual reality. While Booster 19 grabbed headlines, Ship 39 quietly became the most important vehicle in SpaceX's test fleet. It's fully stacked inside Mega Bay 2, and the heat shield system is complete, a strong indicator that major assembly is finished. The Mega Bay doors are open, which historically signals imminent testing. Ship 39 will be the first Starship to fly with Raptor 3 engines. That's massive. This isn't just another test vehicle, it's the validation platform for everything SpaceX plans to do in 2025 and beyond. Payload deployment systems, in-space fuel transfer, the new heat shield design, all of it gets tested on Ship 39 first. The delays caused by Booster 18's explosion actually worked in Ship 39's favor. The extra time allowed for more thorough ground testing and validation. SpaceX used this window to verify systems through the dedicated test tank S39.1, which completed cryogenic and structural tests weeks ago. This methodical approach reduces risk dramatically. When Ship 39 finally fires up, those Raptor 3 engines will be operating in a thoroughly validated environment. Current estimates suggest cryotesting could happen in late December or early January. The sequence will start with structural pressure testing to ensure the vehicle can handle launch loads, followed by cryogenic propellant loading to verify the fuel system works under real conditions. After passing these tests, Ship 39 returns to Mega Bay 2 for engine installation, the moment everyone's been waiting for. On December 19th, something interesting started rising at the Massey test site, a new vertical gantry structure. This isn't just another tower, it's a complete support system for Starship testing. The facility will provide platforms for fueling, maintenance, and inspections, essentially creating a full-scale launch pad environment for static fire tests. This infrastructure upgrade directly addresses problems exposed by the Ship 36 explosion back in June 2025. That incident damaged critical testing equipment and forced SpaceX to rethink how they approach ground testing. The new gantry ensures safer operations and more efficient pre-flight checks, which means faster turnaround between test campaigns. Flight 12 is currently scheduled for the first quarter of 2025, with a potential launch window between February 1st and 7th. The mission profile is deliberately conservative, a suborbital trajectory that falls just short of completing a full orbit, with the upper stage performing a controlled re-entry and splashdown in the Indian Ocean. This flight will debut the new orbital launch pad 2, testing every ground system from the redesigned water deluge to enhance fueling operations. The pad's performance is just as important as the vehicle's. SpaceX needs to prove they can operate multiple launch sites simultaneously if they want to achieve their ambitious flight rate goals. The primary objective? Collect data on how the new heat shield performs during re-entry and how the vehicle behaves during atmospheric descent. This data will inform decisions about when to attempt the first tower catch of a Starship upper stage, a milestone that could happen as soon as Flight 13. The visual quality of Starship V3 tells its own story. The surface is incredibly smooth and clean compared to earlier prototypes. This comes from advanced robotic laser welding, where precise lasers melt and fuse steel pieces together, creating flawless joints without the bumps and irregularities of traditional welding. SpaceX starts with cold-rolled 304L stainless steel sheets, stamps them into large ring sections, then uses a giant planishing hammer to flatten the welds until they blend perfectly with the surrounding material. The result is both stronger and more beautiful than previous versions. The Mega Bay facility upgrades over the past few years have been transformative. New work platforms, turntables, and advanced tooling systems have turned what was essentially a large workshop into a precision manufacturing environment. This infrastructure investment is what enables the speed we're seeing with Booster 19. Booster 19's 28-day assembly isn't just about speed. It's proof that SpaceX has cracked the code on mass-producing rockets. The V3 design removed the complexity that slowed everything down. Simpler engines, modular construction, robotic precision. This is what happens when you design for manufacturing from the start, not as an afterthought. When Flight 12 lifts off between February 1st and 7th, we'll see the full V3 system in action for the first time. Booster 19 with its integrated hot staging ring, Ship 39 with Raptor 3 engines, and the brand new Orbital Launch Pad 2. Three major technological leaps happening simultaneously on a single mission. But here's what keeps me up at night. If SpaceX can build a booster in 28 days now, what's the timeline going to look like 6 months from now? A year from now? We might be watching the moment when rocket production transitions from aerospace manufacturing to something closer to automotive mass production. The gap between SpaceX and everyone else isn't closing, it's widening. While competitors are still celebrating successful static fires, SpaceX is stacking boosters faster than most companies can write progress reports. So what do you think? Can any other company catch up to this pace? Or has SpaceX fundamentally changed the game forever? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this video showed you something you didn't know about the V3 design, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to see where aerospace is actually heading, and subscribe to Space Update 24 hours so you don't miss Flight 12 when it happens. Trust me, you'll want to see this one live. President Trump just signed an executive order pushing Artemis 3 from 2027 to 2028. Most people saw it as a delay, a step backward in the space race. But Elon Musk recognized something different. What if rushing to beat China by 1 year would actually destroy America's entire moon program? SpaceX hasn't even rolled out a full HLS vehicle yet. Starship V3 is untested, orbital refueling has never been proven, and early test flights typically show 30 to 40% failure rates. So here's the real question. Would a spectacular public failure in 2027 set the program back even further than a strategic delay to 2028? Let's dive right in. The executive order Trump signed on January 20th, 2025, the same day Jared Isaacman took office as NASA administrator, wasn't just a schedule adjustment. It was a calculated risk management decision. The document specifically states, return American astronauts to the lunar surface through the Artemis program in 2028 instead of 2027 to ensure feasibility and safety. Notice the word choice here. Not delay, not postponement, but ensure feasibility and safety. What does NASA know that made this change necessary? The answer lies in what SpaceX hasn't accomplished yet. Right now, at the end of 2024, SpaceX has completed 5 Starship test flights. They've caught the booster with Mechazilla, they've demonstrated controlled reentry. But here's what they haven't done. They haven't rolled out a single complete HLS vehicle. They haven't performed orbital refueling. They haven't kept a Starship in orbit for more than 90 minutes.